Back again with one of the most satisfying sentences known to mankind. Another 5-star added to the trenches.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Now the number one sports podcast network in the world. This episode brought to you by FanDuel. And right now, new customers can bet only $5 and get $250 in bonus bets. If your first bet hits, so head to FanDuel.com to get started. With the only Chris Level, I'm Casey Cowan. Chris, great to be back with you. And no coincidence, I'm sure you get back to the great state. Back into Locked On Texas Tech saddle, we're adding a 5-star edge rusher. Connect the dots, folks. On this episode, we're celebrating because it is a big recruiting day for Texas Tech to kick off the week. We're going to be talking about a new addition on the edge, this in the form of a class of 2027 edge rusher by the name of Anthony Sweeney out of Baltimore, Maryland, of course, Texas Tech's backyard. Save that for just a moment later. I want to get back to that, Chris, but at a primo position, we know that. And I also want to get to a bigger picture question. I'll actually hear from Joey McGuire on this when we consider a post-conference title-winning season recruiting bump. I don't know if this is a part of that or not. I don't care. It's a guy at a primo spot and a highly thought of one that's just been added to the Red Raider family.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this and how we got here. But yeah, I guess I was first made aware that this was a really strong possibility Sunday. I guess that last night, and I thought, sure. It's just like I don't, it was some folks that cover this thing in the industry, and I'm like you. I'm like, wait a second, and I knew to be fair, he had just been here, but I mean, this is so foreign to our systems, our Texas Tech systems, not the institution of Texas Tech. I'm talking about our just the growing up and paying attention to this program. And I remember way back in the day, it was like you were rumored to be getting Gerald Jones out of Oklahoma, the 4-star kid, and that was so foreign. And sure enough, he went to Tennessee, and you never didn't get him and all that. And But 5-star edges, man. I mean, Joey McGuire and James Blanchard are becoming they're becoming freak collectors. I mean, they are just adding freak after freak after freak. I mean, like these are top of the food chain type guys, man. These are twitchy, because inevitably we will always get, ever since I've done radio or this show with you, and you've probably gotten questions similar. There's always a topic in the off season as you look ahead to an upcoming season. We've gotten this question multiple times for football and basketball over the years. Hey, if you could add one former player to this upcoming team, who would it be? Why? And I think we've done this exercise before. And football wise, it's almost always been like, man, you want to add the pressure player, the edge player on defense, because that's been like the position that has just eluded you, and you've just been decent on defense some years, but just could never get to the quarterback, just almost, and now you're starting to. This is becoming a thing now, to where you're pairing guys up that are just, and. So like I said, he was just here on campus a week and a half ago, I guess, and with a whole bunch of other big time folks as well, and of the trench variety, offensive line and defensive line, and this just is showing you kind of what Texas Tech is doing with the high school recruiting. If you can play offensive tackle, or if you can play pretty much anywhere on the D line, and you're big time. I think, and they are identifying. They're not like throwing a blanket at like whoever. They're being picky, and you have to choose right. But
yeah, there are Albert Hainsworths out there also.
Right.
Not just everybody on the DT list is going to be a
Yeah.
guy you want.
Didn't he stomp on a guy one time?
Yes, he did after getting like a $300 million contract.
Yeah, that's right. He like stomped on a dude one time. Not good.
Just as an example that you don't cast the general net over
Yeah.
all defensive tackles or DNs.
Right, but they're identifying your Jalen Brewsters and LaDainian Guyton and some of these pieces, and they're recruiting the hell out of them, and you trust Blanche here and company, Coach Nance and Coach Kenny, and on with that whole group, and then you just have to recruit the heck out of them, and then hopefully they chose correctly, but. This is this speaks to them having premium positions that are it's the NFL pay scale model. We've talked about this before a bit, where there's just certain positions that make more money than others. I think, though, that for Texas Tech, offensive tackle and anything across the defensive line checks that box if there's a chance they can get in there. And you mentioned a bump in recruiting. Like, winning has helped. David Bailey, Lee Hunter have helped, and that's about to help with where they're about to be picked. Finances help, all the above. But yeah, because and this kid's like Twitter handle, Tank Man Beast, like Tank Man Beast. Let's just put them all together, and that's what Anthony Sweeney is. I mean, he's 6'4", 230. He's much, somebody asked me how different is he than Guyton, and he's longer than I think LaDainian Guyton. He's probably got more range and maybe more polish is the right word. And I asked a few of the guys that cover this thing full time that maybe have seen more. That was kind of the thought too. Whereas Guyton is maybe more powerful and more, like bull rush and more, strength and those kinds of things. But pair them together, and James Blanchard and some of these interviews that he's done recently and then over the years, that's part of the plan. We basically, he is saying we don't think there are enough good offensive linemen in the league that we play in to hold up with what we can put together. So we are putting a premium on this position, and it goes back to what would the Eagles do? Well, they'd add another, D lineman and all that. But now you're starting to put them together, and now this is new because this is, technically going to be the Guyton will be here in June. And then Sweeney can't sign until December, and I bet he's an early enrollee, and so they would technically, you could pair them up for the 2027 season. Does that take you out of the portal? I doubt you would go at it just with a couple of really, really young guys, but these are different. This is a bit different, but LSU, South Carolina, A&M, Ohio State, Penn State, Tennessee. I mean, it's just like on and on with this kid. I think he had 40 Division I offers. He could have played at any Power 4 school in the country, large in part, and out of Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah.
I bet they're going to keep trying to get him to come to their school too. I think some conversations will be ongoing. So hang tight, everybody. Hang tight. But exciting to celebrate it today. The Baltimore, Maryland aspect on the heels of a pluck from Georgia and some other nationwide interest. Today's episode brought to you by TurboTax. It's tax time, but for a lot of us, the old way of doing taxes is a lot. Trying to book an appointment, that's not the most convenient. Sitting in a waiting room with a stack of papers, emailing back and forth and wondering if they really get your situation. But this year, you're getting a major upgrade. Intuit TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can meet face-to-face with a real tax expert, and your documents get uploaded straight to your TurboTax app on the spot. And just like that, you're done. Your TurboTax expert works to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's the relief of walking in and meeting a real person and walking out knowing your taxes are being handled the right way. Head to turbotax.com/local to find a store near you and book your appointment.
I think that this is where you trust evaluation, and It's you're not just trying to recruit the state of Texas. What is funny, it sounds crazy that we're sitting here talking about these two high school kids, one from Georgia, one from Maryland, and you're going, golly, man, that's crazy. Well, think about it. I mean, you just had Bailey from California. You just had Romello Height from Georgia. And now you're going to have Adam Trick from Ohio and Trey White from California, from San Diego specifically. And so this is going to, it's going to be like a 3 years where you've got these pair of edge rushers that are not anywhere from around here. But this is the new world we're living in. So it shouldn't technically be. It's just these are high school guys. These are the ones that you've always just hoped that would just answer the phone, man. And then it's like, okay, hey man, he talked to me. Let's see if we can get you on a visit. No, I mean you're getting them to visit unofficially and then commit prior to when official visits even go on. And I'd be willing to bet you that what sells Sweeney is like getting to play with LaDamian Guyton and like, hey, by the way, we got this 325-pound adult that's going to be in the interior named Jalen Brewster that'll play. I mean, so all of that plays off of each other. And yes, these are the types of guys that every school is going to continue to call, and you can worry about it. You can stress about it, or you can go, man, I'm just not going to whatever. And what will happen will happen. We don't know. But you're because of what I'm saying to you, you're on the right people. Yeah. You're in a different sandbox, man. It's just like this is a different sandbox that you're playing in, and it just means you're recruiting the right dudes. If everybody's still wanting to call them and not wanting to take no for an answer and find out how would they offer you, this. I mean, so it's a fascinating world we're living in right now.
I love to be sick of fending off Ohio State for all our guys. God, you can never get the Buckeyes to quit calling. Which, by the way, if you're not a first or second rounder, Ryan Day said, we're not going to develop you into one, so don't bother coming here if you're not already showing up as a first or second rounder. Just
strange comment.
Yeah, something to keep in mind.
Yeah, strange.
I got no coaches. You're not going to get any better, so show up great, and we'll like that.
Because we can't help you.
Yeah, we're not going to help you at all.
Yeah, we're only trying to recruit greatness. And then I saw one of those former fifth-round picks like respond going, hey, geez, thanks, coach. Appreciate it. It's just, strange.
I don't want to get bogged down in no nipple rings. Let's get back to our guy here in the 806 saying some things I like to hear, because there is that question sort of, and this was before this edition. I think this was about a week ago. This is actually asked of Joey McGuire, but has there been a bump when it comes to recruiting or guys that you're getting the attention of following a conference title winning season? Here's Coach McGuire's thoughts.
100%. Just from the standpoint, like, again, whenever you start thinking, and if you negatively recruit Texas Tech, a lot of time it blows up in your face. I mean, we hear that all the time of what somebody might say about us, and then they're like, Coach, whatever they think this place is, they need to come out and visit some of the other programs, which they're not going to be able to. But I think whenever you start thinking about this building and the facilities, whenever you look at, well, Tech's never won the conference, and, we won it this year, going to the college football playoffs. And then what's going to happen at the end of this month, the number of guys that are going to get drafted. And not only guys that are getting drafted, but those guys playing their best football. I think it's speaking volumes to these recruits that are on campus. And we've the last 2 weeks, just the guys that have been in this building, body type, athleticism, overall has been at a different level. We have 18 mid-year freshmen. And, you talked about recruiting at a whole nother level. Those guys are even as a mid-year freshman group at a whole nother level. Felix is getting worked with the 2s and 3s. He and Elias, who is going to be a redshirt freshman, those guys are doing a phenomenal job. So if you look out there with our 2s or 3s, you're going to see Elias or Felix at left tackle. I think he's somewhere between 291 and 295 right now. He close grip benched 365 pounds, and so for a freshman, or not even a freshman, a high school kid, that's really good. not the strongest freshman. J.J. Mays actually was over that. So, that group of freshmen have come in with a really strong foundation strength-wise. So hats off to their high school coaches for doing that.
The list of visitors that were on campus 2 weeks or a week and a half ago, I guess, whatever it was mainly all linemen. I mean, it's just like Cowan, you're living it right now, buddy. This is your time. I mean, this is your era.
Inside out.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
he said big people fly first class at Texas Tech. Sounds like they heard it.
Yep, that's right. but I think that the guy you just heard from, and this isn't a secret to people that have listened to us or watched us or whatever, but see, the word is kind of out. Money spends the same in a lot of these places, and money, contrary to what everybody's going to say on social media and everything, the money is largely the same in a lot of cases with a lot of these folks and offers and all that. But see, Joey, he breaks a lot of the ties because that's what with your portal recruiting and then high school and all that stuff. They get these kids and say, get around our players, get around our former players, get around these guys that are about to go to the NFL and ask them how I am. Ask them what I'm about day in and day out. Ask them what I'm passionate about or what if I have a bad day or if I coach hard or whatever. And it's fascinating because so many of these guys are getting here. And like these portal guys, it happened last year, a year ago. And it's like these guys are saying it now. Like, man, I just never been around a guy like that. I mean, he's got it every day. He brings the juice and he wakes up fired up, and it's just crazy. Never, and I think that breaks the tie in many cases. I'm not trying to suggest that other guys aren't good at what they do, but I mean, Joey, he's a difference maker in this world of recruiting, and it's just being played at on a much higher scale or a much higher level than before.
Yeah, he was talking about Felix Ojo there in that clip, and he went on to say about Ojo that I didn't include in his comments. In addition to what he is physically, he said he also loves Texas Tech or something to that degree, saying he's one of their best recruiter when guys are visiting on campus right now. And he's talking about how so many know who he is because of his profile as a prospect also. So just an example kind of what you're saying, I think.
And this builds like these certain guys that go to these elite camps or this and that, the freak collection that you're undergoing right now, like Billy the Kid used to say, hey man, you riding with known men. And so there's some of that, and good players want to play with good players.
Yeah.
But I think that, the winning, the facilities, the finances, the NFL draft aspect of it, it's all kind of hand in hand.
That's one of the things I was most excited about, clearly, regarding last season. We wanted to get Texas Tech over the hump, get an outright conference title, etc. But I also wanted that proof to be there in that pudding because you had made so many waves with all the other things you describe outside the lines that are attractive about the program. You really needed to go win, and now you've got between the lines performance to point to, because you're exactly right about the money spending the same in a whole lot of places. There are plenty of places they can write big checks and they ain't got anything as far as a banner. I mean, that's one of the proudest traditions you're going to find amongst Aggies in Bryan College Station. So I think the thing I'm most grateful for right now is that you got over that competitive hump, at least within your league, to actually now point back to it and say, hey, we're not just throwing cash around, to throw cash around. Trying to put together a team.
Yeah, and this was Joey's biggest point of contention with himself or his own program, and it wasn't all his doing. He'd just been here 2 years prior to last year, whatever it was, and he was like, we have got to eliminate that from the list of excuses on why we can't get a kid or we can't get a kid to talk to us or whatever, because he mentions, you try to negative recruit, and now you can't been to the CFP, I guess somebody could say now, hey man, they're not going to win a game in the CFP. We've done that, but I guess that's really the only thing. But you got a big old doorknob of a championship ring that you can show if you've seen those things. But that bothered him greatly, and it turns out Joey's going to get a letter jacket because of that conference championship victory. So he's a man of the people, but also a man of the program now permanently, and deservedly so. But that bothered him greatly. I think a year ago, it's like we have got to eliminate that from the list of things. Because as we know, man, flags fly for forever, banners fly for forever. I mean, you can't ever take that away. And so now on to the next thing. Now let's get in and stay at the party a little bit later, and let's start adding to it. It would be the goal here. But
and I'll tip the cap to those who are out there saying, tell me when they run through the tunnel. I spend some days saying that as well. All right. But not days where you're adding a 5-star. I go ahead and start dreaming a little bit about it.
Because we've never had these days before.
That's right.
Yeah. These are like brand new days. This is like a whole new era. But now it's becoming, I don't want to say like common, but it's we've sat here and talked about a whole bunch of guys, and they're all ranked in that category. And these are all, some of which are either already signed or already here or are on the way, and all the things. But and I get the folks that don't want to follow the minutia of it. The point is, again, this is a different time. It is a different time. You have a very specific plan. You are executing said plan. There is proof of process, proof of concept. I like it. I'm here for it, and I'm enjoying my time. I hope that my time and your time continues, because this is a fun time.
No question. Stacking the right kind of pieces together. Now, what are you going to do with it? Go win.
Yeah. Again. And like 12 games, which is what they just did.
That's right. Yeah. All right, Chris, appreciate some time to catch up on this latest exciting edition for Texas Tech, and still a whole lot more to come this week on a football front as we're getting ready for a spring game culmination to the week. So looking forward to all of that, and we'll see you for the next one.
Hey, we'll see if we can't round up another 5-star next time we join you, and we'll break that down. No, all kidding aside, man, enjoy it if you're into roster management and roster building and recruiting and all that stuff, because this is your day, man, and enjoy it.
Chris returning from Georgia, or does he mean to Maryland? Where exactly was he? Okay, a question for another episode, possibly. Thank you for being out there, everybody, and doing what you've got to do. Pulling your weight to keep this Red Raider train rolling down the tracks. Get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. Thank you to the Everydayers for always being along for the ride. If that's you, check out the newly launched Everydayer Club. $5 a month, ad-free audio episodes, and more. Find a link to that in the show notes. And also a link to a free 14-day trial to check out the Matador Mob, your direct line to Chris and myself, with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.